it's a lot higher level. Okay, I think of a policy procedure manual as everybody needs to know this. Okay, so you can break up your policy procedure manual. This is how I typically do it with my clients, where it's like, here's the things that everybody needs to know. Here are the things that the front desk needs to know, or your admin team. Here's your therapist, broken up by kind of practitioner. And then here's like management, right? And so that way it's not this like ginormous textbook, because guess what? If you don't make them read it or if you don't go over it, they're not going to do it. Also, you don't need to make it like the most boring thing in the world, by the way. Just a heads up on that. But having those broken up, it gives the overall vibe of what you are expecting, how you want your clients to be treated, how you want to be represented in the community, that kind of idea.
Hey friends, welcome to the show. I'm Chris Eder, your host with Rebookly.ai. Welcome to another episode. Let's be real, most clinic owners are juggling everything, often without systems, documentation, or a clear plan. That's where today's conversation comes in. I'm joined by Allisyn Howard, business coach and founder of Ava Wellness, and we're talking about how to stop winging it and start building a business that runs smoothly even when you're not there. From team training and SOPs to what that even means, to choosing the right systems, this episode is all about getting organized and freeing up your time. Let's jump in. Allisyn, back again, and I'm so glad. How are you doing?
Very good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So, all right, we're calling this episode From Chaos to Clarity. And if you're feeling like your business, your clinic is held together with duct tape and memory, this is going to be a game changer. So let's get started. Allisyn, a lot of clinic owners run everything from memory. Why is documenting systems so important?
Because we have not perfected cloning technology yet. People.
Okay, tell me more.
I joke all the time about how easy it would be if we all had clones and whatever, to be able to jump into your brain and go, okay, how did I get there? Right. And then you add on stuff like ADHD or whatever, and it's like, that's a tangled web of how did you get to this final thing. Nobody wants to be in my brain, let's put it that way. But if you're trying to run everything off of memory, if there's a emergency, when you are in a position to start hiring, when it's 2:00 in the morning and you're like, oh, okay, I need to do all of these things. If you don't have systems in process, you are going to be up at 2:00 in the morning doing the whole Lorelai Gilmore thing. If you haven't seen the show, it's my favorite, whatever, where she's like calling her in middle of the night, leaving herself voicemails of like, remember to do this, and waking up and going, oh my God, do this thing. And like, I've been there, y'all. It sucks. Don't do that. When you have documented systems, it makes it so that way you don't have to remember everything. You don't have to have this ridiculous mental load going on of, okay, I need to remember Susie Q is going to be doing this, and I've got to do my notes, and oh, right, I also have to do the sheets, and I've got to do this, and blah, blah, blah. It makes it so you are always on a hamster wheel when you're on that. When you have your systems, you're like, okay, great, I don't have to think about it. Right? It makes it so much easier to move forward and actually know that things are going to be taken care of, whether that is your scheduling system, whether that is like follow up for clients, anything like that, where it's, okay, this is how we do this. Makes it a lot easier. And you can communicate better with your team, like a lot better.
Right. So documenting, AKA less stress, chalking it up to that, like a huge weight taking off of your shoulders and plates. So, Alia, here in our conversations, a lot of acronyms from a place of business. There's SOPs for this. There's P&Ps for that. Break down the acronyms so that we understand them, and what are the differences between them in terms of an SOP and a P&P?
So P&Ps is a policy and procedure manual. An SOP is a standard operating procedure.
Okay.
To be a well-run clinic practitioner or whatever, I don't care if you're a solopreneur, you need P&P and SOP, okay? You need both of them because your policy and procedure manual is kind of like we've all had to read one at one point, but that's the values, that's the vision, this is how we do things, this is who to call in an emergency, this is where, the incident reports are, this is how we talk to people on the phone or respond to emails, this is the kind of tone we're using. It's a lot higher level. Okay, I think of a policy and procedure manual as everybody needs to know this. Okay, so you can break up your policy procedure manual. This is how I typically do it with my clients, where it's like, here's the things that everybody needs to know. Here are the things that the front desk needs to know, or your admin team. Here's your therapist, broken up by kind of practitioner. And then here's like management, right? And so that way it's not this like ginormous textbook for everybody to be like, oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
never going to read that handbook. I'm never.
Hmm.
Because guess what? If you don't make them read it or if you don't go over it, they're not going to do it. Also, you don't need to make it like the most boring thing in the world, by the way. Just a heads up on that. But having those broken up, it gives the overall vibe of what you are expecting, how you want your clients to be treated, how you want to be represented in the community, that kind of idea. Now, standard operating procedures, this is the actual training. This is the step by step, and I mean like really step by step of this is how you do something. Okay. And this is a fun one. So we used to have cleaners that would come clean one of the centers that I ran.
Okay.
And with that, I realized pretty quickly, because my mom is a professional cleaner, I have very high standards when it comes to this. I realized that the cleaners didn't know how to clean the toilet. Now, when I say cleaners, she was like 18 and just graduated high school, and I don't think it ever taught. Okay.
Right.
But she'd never been taught how to do this. But it was something that, again, with my mom, I've been doing it since I was like 6.
Hmm.
So I broke down and made a standard operating procedure of how to clean the bathrooms and what I expected, and like step by step of like what color rag you used, what cleaning product you used, where all of these things could be found. And I know some people will be like, oh my God, Allie, like that's ridiculous. Like, why would you like just clean the bathroom? Y'all, it ain't that simple. I wish it was, but it's not. But the thing is, when my clients would come in and all of these people, oh my God, I used to get compliments all the time about Allie, like the bathroom and the cleanliness is always great. I always know that there's going to be soap. I always know that there's going to be shampoo and everything in the shower because we had a sauna. And they could trust that. They knew it was going to look good. And we used to get compliments on that all the time. And we actually won clients from other places because our consistency was so good.
I can see that.
Right. And that's like one example. You start getting into harder positions in terms of like being an ND, for instance. How do you want people to be getting access to their labs and their reports? How do you want to communicate about invoices or if somebody hasn't paid you? All of these things, when you have a standard operating procedure of like, this is how you find it, this is how we talk, this is what we do, it eliminates a lot of those questions. And then as either a GM or a director or the owner, you can actually just say, hey, have you looked at it in your standard operating procedure or in the P&P? Have you checked these things yet? If your person or your staff then says no, you can go, okay, go check that now and also making it available so they can like find it online. Perfect, because I can just like control find. But if they say no, you can tell them to go look at that. It gives your staff more autonomy. It gives you more autonomy because now it's like, I've already done the thing. Why are you asking me a question? Right? It's not that you want to be a dick. Like you're gonna answer the question, but go check the stuff that you've already done. Also, if something hasn't come up in a few years, right? Say we have a blackout, okay, or a storm or whatever, and you can't remember, do we need to evacuate? Do what needs to happen? Do my practitioners need to stop? Because it hasn't happened in years. You can
Yeah.
go, oh, here's the emergency section, blackouts. Oh, this is what we have to do.
Yeah.
Right? Just
That's the
eliminates it.
chaos and directly into the clarity of it.
Exactly. Like I've had floods, I've had fires, we've had like, oh my God, we've had so much stuff happen. And it's so much easier when I can go,
It's
okay, I know what to do. And now
yeah,
I
there's
can
no what do moment at all.
exactly. It's okay. I've already thought about this. It kind of sucks having to think about worst case scenarios or like get really tedious about it. But when I was writing my first ones, there was no chat GPT, y'all. There was no AI to help me turn word vomit into procedures. Now there is. It's a lot easier. But it makes it so much nicer in those emergency situations in particular to be like, okay, I'm safe. My people are safe. I know what to do. I know what the steps are. And it takes that fear away and anxiety. It like eliminates as much as possible.
So creating safe places,
Mm-hmm.
eliminating fear, eliminating stress. I think
Creating
we're onto something,
consistency.
right?
Yeah.
So we're talking some really important things here.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that you did touch on was, the day and age that we live in now with all the digital options like ChatGPT and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. So what are your thoughts on that? Like what should a wellness clinic look for when choosing digital tools and what actually matters when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
from chaos to clarity?
One, don't get tricked by shiny objects.
Mhm.
Okay. You have to choose systems that you are going to use and that are easy for you, whether or not that is something like Rebookly. Rebookly is a really great one for automating that side of processing, which is great because the setup's done. Like, I am not a setup person for tech. I have people for that because I don't like it. But you have to choose your digital tools very wisely. So if you're going to be using something like Jane for your booking software and your EMR, and then creating that with a CRM, having those that are going to talk to each other and that are going to work instead of choosing like, oh, I'm going to use this tool and this tool and this tool and this tool and this tool. Now you've got 20 tools that don't really talk to each other and you would need a tech genius to come in and make them all talk to each other. Or you go, these are the things that I need. What are the tools that already work together or what can work together to actually make it some point to use them? Because if you don't use them, you're just going to end up paying out the nose for something that's not going to help you in the long run and going to make
Yeah,
it way
that's
more
the
difficult and way
trade-off.
more stressful. And don't get tricked by if it's prettier. Like, some of the best tools I've ever used are not the pretty ones, guys. You can make them look pretty, but yeah.
Love it. Well, I really appreciate that, Allie. And, talking SOPs, EMRs, P&Ps, CRMs, a little bit of tech here and there is definitely some good things to talk about. So I'm appreciative to you to have that insight into those areas of building your
Mhm.
practice. And when it comes to, taking that tech to the next level, I'm sure we're going to be talking more about this in a different episode, but really quick, like what are your thoughts on automating your processes and the whole work smarter, not harder scenarios?
If it is a repeatable thing, automate it. Oh my God, automate it. Because whether that is sending out reminder texts or emails or saying happy birthday or hey, you haven't been in a while or sending out invoices, whatever the case may be, If you can automate it, do it. Because like I've automated things like onboarding for therapists where I'm like, here's all the stuff that I need from them. I put it in a workflow or whatever for whatever tool I'm using. And I'm like, okay, great. I know that they got their contract. I know that I've requested all of their documents. I know that I've put out this is their marketing material I need. And then by the time they start, I have everything. Instead of chasing it manually, you're sending it via like 4 emails and then you don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Making sure that you can automate these processes as much as you can, man, it makes it so much easier because then you can just check in, make sure it's working. I mean, even for things like social media and marketing, like you can automate a lot of this stuff, right? After the creation, it's like, okay, done.
Yeah, of course. Making things easy
Mhm.
makes it so much better. Okay, well, I'm loving this so far. So many practical
Mhm.
takeaways. Thank you again, Allisyn. So, everyone watching, if your clinic feels a little chaotic behind the scenes, Allisyn is so amazing at helping clean things up and get your systems working for you. So, Allie, how can folks reach out to you?
So easiest way is going to be on my website at avawellness.ca. For all of our listeners here, they can actually book in a free 30-minute call with me and we can chat about what's going on in your practice right now and what's giving you the most headache. And we can figure out what we can actually do to help you streamline a lot more.
Outstanding. Well, see you on the next one, Allie, and everyone else.
See you
Take
soon.
care.
Bye.
Thanks again for tuning in to this episode with Rebookly.ai. If you're curious about automating rebookings, reducing front desk overwhelm, and generating more revenue for your clinic in one of the easiest ways, head over to Rebookly.ai and check out what we're building. We've got more great episodes coming your way, so be sure to subscribe and share this with someone who'd benefit. See you next time.